Hey guys, it's RCK and I'm glad to have you back here again for our next episode in our Fallen Empires game today. We're going to be going over, I believe it's turn 57 and 58. So let's see what we have going on here. Of course, right off the bat, we do see a large confrontation here finally between End and Ermor. It seems like they are finally starting to commit more into this war here, which I'm finally glad to see because it's kind of been a pissing contest for a little while. So here, more than likely, this is a lot of raids from End. If this is the two raiding parties left, I guess, from Ermor, it might be a larger force, honestly. Let's go ahead and look. So the first one here is definitely a raiding force. This is more than likely a counter raid from End. Raiding force from Ermor. This was the larger force that was sitting on that fort, I believe. And honestly, this might be... No. Okay, it's just PD. We do see this is a pretty big raiding force between 3 Hashmas and a Malacca. They're very big. 1 Hashma is more than likely what they need as far as raiding. I assume they were expecting a larger force there. And another small raiding force of these Canval troops that End has. Another Malacca. So, of course, it looks like End is winning the raiding game for the moment, but there was a lot to take back. If you remember, he was slow to respond to for a turn or two. We see a decently sized force here, not too much as far as mages go from what we have normally seen from Arcocephali. Remember, they have lost a lot in the past couple of turns, so has Satis. But still, a lot of Heart Champions and Hoplites will definitely do the trick here just against PD. We had an independent attack on Abizia. Abizia won, by the way. But Manchaco lost his independent attack, which is interesting. Cool, so let's go ahead and look at the battle map. More than likely, I'm just going to go over the war between End and Ermor because otherwise, everyone has kind of stayed the same. We do see these two very, very large forces here on Abyssia's border, which is quite interesting. So that might be something that comes up from that when we see them kind of on the opposing sides here at this moment. But something definitely could happen there. But other than that, we still see most of End's troops located inside of End itself. We see that End finally raided back all these provinces. Of course, he needs to take that fort back. The Sylph army here did move forward in 132. Possibly going after the throne, knocking him off of the outer throne. 3 gems a turn would be nice. The main force from Ermor. I mean, I see a decent amount of lictors there, but not like a ridiculous amount. Looks like the ridiculous amount is probably right here in Province 1. Looks like they're being made here with the crypt under, giving him that conjuration brawlness there. So yeah, this is where his main force is, and I assume that he's going to be hitting that fort and taking that cave. There's no reason why he should have lost that cave. Fighting in darkness would be very, very beneficial, and End is not going to want to take that fight. Other than that, uh, hmm, tough call on what he should do here. We do see an Archbishop blessing the lictors. No mages I see, but they could possibly be sneaking. Um, don't know if he wants to take that fight on top of man and risk this army here. Because I'm sure man will go all in once again with whatever he has left. And from the amount of land he has and sites that we see here, more than likely a lot of air gems will be seen here. So that is interesting. Abizia still has not killed man yet. They more than likely pieced out, but I think they took a province back and forth a turn or two ago. I don't remember. I mean, he might be decently confident with the amount of lictors he has. If he does, I mean, it could see a possibility of him taking this fort here. But otherwise, he might be hitting 7 and like moving down towards fighting more of End. Because I mean, yeah, man's gonna raid you and take these provinces back, but I highly doubt he's going to be able to take this fort that's beside your lictor production. Okay, just your availability to move lictors from here to here and defend. I don't think he's going to push out from his cap that much. He's very defensive these days. After he was overly aggressive in the first while, trying to take Ermor, fighting Abizia. So that is interesting. But yeah, we do see everything kind of raided back. I'm sure his income, well, I mean, honestly, it's not even that great. All these provinces are relative trash as far as income wise, except for the cap, and even then, the unrest is so high that it's not even that important. Must be blood hunting here with the unrest in these provinces. So, a lot of interesting things here going on. Other than that, we'll take a quick look. I know I said we wouldn't, but of course, Satis is massing up here at his capital again. Otherwise, again, a lot of elite warriors everywhere else. Arcos finally moving on to these outlying forts here where Scaleria once was, taking them, which is, I mean, they have pretty decent income as far as it goes. All of them do. So yeah, I'm surprised that Malacca hasn't jumped on this train here and took, honestly, all of it. There's no reason why I couldn't have. After seeing those losing battles, I'm sure Arcos didn't want to show those battle reports around, but if you have a decent amount of scouts, you should be able to see anything. Also looks like there's no PD in 95, which is interesting. 2 PD there. That's just mistaken. 3 PD, 23, 3, 3, 3. Seems to like to put 3 down. I don't know what 3 stops. I know 6 stops villains. That's why I normally put 6, but oh well. 11 drops unrest, of course. For Armor, I would only ever put 1. That's what I do. Yeah, but interesting here, the differences in PD from player to player. 21 PD there. I bet there's knights or something. Other than that, this is about 6 across the board, other than 11. Drop unrest. So, I mean, just interesting to see that in the game. Well, the pestilence there. So we'll go ahead and head over to turn 58. Not too much said. Just a lot of raiding forces back and forth here. Definitely in this turn, no major commitments of armies. But some very heavily geared thugs from End, of course. There it is. I remember I put it on top. Ooh, and here we have a lot of battles, and I did predict that correctly when Malacca attacking Abysia. So that is interesting. We'll see how that goes. So we have a Great Eagle here. So let's go ahead and check this Great Eagle out. Has it's a Nature 2, Def 2, Fire 1 with a couple of Def Gems on them. I guess casting a couple things, maybe invulnerabilities, the Soul Vortex, maybe. Yes, I did call it personal regen. Okay. 66. Okay. And he's been able to win that. Did cast Fire Shield too? No. It's just on fire. Probably should have cast Fire Shield. I mean, yes, it wouldn't hurt the Warlord, but it would definitely hurt the PD. And here we see the larger army from Arcos that survived. And we see the Golem here, a couple of Mystics. Majority of his troops, of course, and we're not going to necessarily look at this one since it is just fighting PD, and we've already looked at it before. We do see a Bane, which I think it was in the last one as well. Raiding force from Ermor did win. Now, he is definitely having to push up his raiding forces here up to 50. I think they've been around the 50 area, but normally you can get away with a lot less. But it does look like this is more than 6 PD. 52. So I assume actually that this one didn't move down like this one moved down like I expected to. Like I said, I wouldn't think that he would commit to going after this cap here with the just 50 lictors or whatever many he had. So yes, he is threatening him from multiple sides now. Oh, and it looks like that must have been a gateway there, I think. He must have gatewayed these troops over. Or were they already in the fort? No, I've already been in the fort. One likely could already be in the fort. So he's probably going to be moving them back. He's going to be moving them out of that fort now. So let's go back to the messages. A giant sorcerer. Fighting in darkness. Has a bunch of equipment on him for sure. Decent thug paths. Just like his little red hat here. Bam. And he's out of here. Ashmore taking out one long dead. I assume this one long dead was left on the fort just to keep it under siege. Shaka taking back his independence. Ooh, what's this? See what we have here. Just 2 earth gems here. It's also twice born. Interesting. I guess he's gonna thug him out and do the spray poison. Miss. Oh, flying. That's a decent amount of HP, honestly. But there I go. Okay. Next, we do see the Sylph army here being taken out by one of In's armies, and honestly, In did a pretty good job in fighting this. Let's go ahead and see how he scripted and set up. So, Ermor. So we see Gift of Flight, Lightning Resistance, Battle Fortune, Protection, Stone of Courage being cast. Oh, and here they come. Oh, this is the PD guy, I believe. No, yeah, this is the PD fellow. No, this is the cannibal that did die. That he ended up having. They all have magical weapons, so they could definitely deal with ethereal units like this. They have luck, 5 lightning resistance, which isn't great, but I guess any will actually help you in this case. Those magma bolts are definitely hurting the sylphs. Heavenly Fire. Incinerate, of course, the undead here are almost all gone here from the holy spells being cast on them by these holy 3s and whatnot. Yeah. Just a matter of time. The Censor is leaving, the Mountain King is leaving, the Windmaster is leaving. There's a lot of air gems on them. Interesting. So, very, very nice fight there from End. Otherwise, we do see this large Machakan force here moving on to Abyssian, and we'll just check out his army composition. Lots and lots of hoplites here. Vine Ogres on the flanks, on both the flanks. Lions behind them. A few Spider Riders here and there on both flanks. Not many on the other, but a lot here. And just ranks and ranks of these hoplites. Interesting to see. What are you? Released ones. Cool. Released warrior. Released one. The warriors look pretty nice. The fossilized swords and hatchets. Decent attack skill 12. Protection of 27. My goodness. It's their fossils. Yes, they're just have pretty tough armor, but the attack density is rather nice for these guys. Very nice. We do see a Fire 3 Astral 2. In which case, I don't think he has much astral access. His prophets here has a Release Sage, Earth 4 Astral 1 Death 3. Lots and lots of Death, Nature, and Fire mages, and of course I think a lot of Earth mages as well. It's a very, very heavy mage force here from Chaka. Very interesting units here. I'll have to see how you get those. I don't remember really ever seeing them very often. We have a Mound Fiend, of course, boosted up to a Death 4, which are very nice. We see a decent amount of archers here through the middle and the side. Of course, I'm pretty sure he'd be casting flames. So this is going to be on the fort itself, not in the battle. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a scary fight having to move these guys through it. Let's go ahead and play the battle and see what we have here. Legions are still being cast. Lots of legions still being cast. Let's see what their protection's up to. 20. I mean, 20 is a pretty decent protection here, but you have to keep in mind they have very, very high encumbrance. So I would like to see things like relief going up. Honestly, any fatigue plays, Heat from Hell, Rigor Mortis, I feel like would hurt you more just with the composition of army here, being how high their fatigue actually is. Love seeing all these flying spells go by. I'm seeing a little bit of friendly fire here and there, but not. I take that back. Kind of bad. Some guys taking some poison damage. Why is that? Not sure. Actually, no. Oh no. Plus, one guy running away. Cool, cool. So, a very large army from Malacca, of course. Very committed mage-wise. Lots and lots of troops. At this point in the game, Abizia could have Flame from the Sky if he dedicated everything to evocation, maybe after Lightless Lanterns. So death bowling like this could be rather dangerous. Malacca Raid, Manticore Raid. I'm loving all these different. I assume he got them through transforming his sorcerers and whatnot. But I am really liking seeing all these crazy units he's throwing at him. But yeah, it looks like it's a twice-born sorcerer that has then used the transform spell. I believe anyway. Abizia is still attacking main here, but with the current events of Malacca attacking him, I doubt he'll stay here for very long. Malacca Raid. This is another Malaccan force here, but this one with a golem. More than likely having up to 3, maybe 4, depending on how he boosted him astral. Bunch of black sorcerers, so these are his 2-turn recruit mages. Just a lot of mage backup other than that. We have a witch here. Interesting. Independence attacking Malacca. Malacca losing once again. Hill Giant attacking Ended Wind. That's currently what we have going on there. Yeah, this is rather interesting to see Malacca going after Abizia here. I feel like if Malacca was going this route and decided that he was going to fight Abizia, I think he should have fought him turns and turns and turns ago, since Malacca really hasn't been at war with anybody for a long time, and back when Abizia lost almost all of his army. So I feel like he should have been on the ball a little bit more with that one. Looks like should have been a little bit better with that for sure. But I mean, you can't be mad at the player for that. You know, you do your best you can. Other than that, we see that N has majority taken most of his lane back. I mean, of course, he still has to take 132, 106, 7 back. But honestly, I mean, that's just a Malacca away from being his. He will be moving this army out, I assume. This one will be moving up, taking that fort. Not too much movement here, but we do see Arcocephali jumping on the Scalarian capital here. So that's going to be a very, very nice province for him to take for sure. And after this fight is over, Arcocephali is going to turn from a 1-cap nation to a 3-cap nation. That's going to be very, very nice for him, putting him pretty far ahead. Since he's already so far ahead in research, he'd probably be looking at #1 position in the game. depending on how he fights this Satis army taking this last bit of land here. Other than that, it's probably followed by End or Machaca, then Abyssinian and Ermor. Man, of course, is in last, unfortunately. And that's turn 58, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.